Hello. So I have a game I want to show you. I made it a few days back. It's a quite simple game. It has lots of tables, and for those that doesn't know, I was a avid Warzone player. I played probably a few years, Warzone 1 and later Warzone 2. So I was always thinking, is it possible to make a battle royale Warzone experience as a tabletop game. First, I want to apologize if I sound kind of funny because my nose is running. I'm kind of a bit under weather. I probably some kind of uh, Omicron variant, I guess. So I'm kind of a bit sick, but not that sick, so I cannot record this video. Anyway, so I was thinking how it is, in which way to actually make battle royale a game that actually how to make a tabletop version of Warzone. So I streamlined as much as I can all the components of the video game, and this is what I have here. I used the current map of Caldera, although I would rather want to use Verdansk, but I couldn't find a really big image that I could use for a map for a game. Although if I find some kind of image of Caldera or maybe this new map for Warzone 2 Al Mazrah, I can also import those and have multiple maps to play on. So how the game works, I simulated everything using tables, so it's more like I would say a war game of sorts. But it still resembles Warzone and has all the things that are in one battle royale game as Call of Duty Warzone. So today in this video, we're just gonna make a team and prepare the map, and then we're gonna try to play. I still don't know. Do I want to play a quad, a trios, duos? Because this, well, in essence, this could be played solo, where you control all these players in your team. Although you can play it like multiplayer, each player can choose what kind of action he want to do on his turn, I guess. Although there is not much of an actions you can do. I mean, the things you can do are quite simple. So it's more of a table-driven narrative game, I guess. So what we have here of the components is the main map of Caldera, which is split on 16 zones. Each zone is named and has a number. What you're looking for, you can see the zone is this big thing here, it has a thick line and a number. So fields number 11. This is for randomizing something on the map. We also have lots of tokens. We have a one bag with the contracts. Contracts, for those that doesn't play Warzone, are things that you can pick up, and then if you finish those contracts, you can get more money. You can hunt other people. You in Warzone, you can also see where the zone is gonna end, because as the zone is ending, the gas is starting to swallow up these zones, and you have less and less space to fight on. So that's how all the players actually in the final zone moved into a little ring until only one team survives. So we have those tokens. We have some boards. Yeah, we have some boards that's gonna help us out. This is the board with the turn track, team threat level, what kind of a tactic team is using, and each turn is split actually in 3 events, and combat is split into 2 impulses at max. Also, there will be other team members, and this is where we track their number. And just like in Warzone, while we're fighting on some other side of a map, other teams simulated that are fighting on other side of the map. So this number of teams gonna slowly go from, depending what you're playing, duos, trios, or quads. These are also possible to play against solo, but it's gonna be really hard. I guess the best for this game is if you play a quad game. So these teams are, the numbers gonna go down as they will be also eliminated until there is only one team and your team, if you manage to survive that long. These are player cards. These actually should be laminated because you need to write some stats on them. I wanted to have as little components as possible, so they can be reusable. So it is not a large game. I mean, you have a map, a few boards, few cards, and that's it. And of course lots of tokens, but the number is not that much high, maybe around 30 or something. Or actually more than 30, I guess. All right, I have a little tables here. It's all kind of table and a rulebook PDF. Most of the rules are also written on paper, so I need to update this PDF. So at the beginning, we're gonna see the map, and we're gonna play later on the game. We're gonna also make our team. There is a tables that you roll on and make members of your team. So for those that doesn't know how Battle Royale works, it's basically you get team of players and they are put usually on some kind of an island, and they fight. They pick up the weapons from the ground, money or everything they need. You can buy a gear, and they use it to track other team members and eliminate them until only one team is left, and that team wins the BR. So let's go here and let's see how we're gonna set up this. So this page we have a making a team and map setup and turn sequence. But first I'm gonna do the map setup before I make a team. So map setup goes like this: roll for random placement of 5 shops. We use 3d6, and if you roll the same zone twice, re-roll those dice until you get a different zone. So let's do that. Take 3d6. And what we're going to do is roll these 3 dice, combine their values, and so we have here now 6, which means we're going to put one of these shops in the zone number 6, which is here in the village. On the shops you can buy better equipment or your loadout. Your loadout is basically weapons that are much better than regular weapons you can pick on from the ground. You can also buy some gear, UAVs that can like show you where the other players are, and you can buy dead team members. You can buy them out. And I just remember that I didn't put a table for the gulag, but by the time we get a second video I'm gonna probably do that. Gulag, for those that doesn't know, is when you die in a game, you have one more chance. You get in the gulag. It's a fight 1 versus 1, and whoever wins gets out from a gulag and gets back into the game. We parachute down on the island. So we have one shop there. Okay, let's see where we also have other shops. So we have one in 5, zone number 5. So that is here in power plant. Now you just place these tokens. They don't have to be placed in specific like space, as long as they are inside the zone. And you'll see for the contracts too, they just occupy the zone. And then we also have a 9, and that is 9 is here, sub pen. So we have a shop there. So every game these location of the shops will be different, just like in Call of Duty Warzone. So 10 is here on the peak, and one more, it is 12, It is inside, where it is? Oh, here, airfield. Okay. So one shop in the power plant, one shop in the sub-pen zone, one in the airfield, one in the village, and one in the peak. And they will stay like this till the end of the game. Shop do not move, and these are the spaces where you can go to buy some stuff. Alright, let's see next. See 2 random zones with 3 contracts drawn randomly from a bag. Okay, let's see. It must be 2 random. So it's gonna be zone number 14, which is here, Arsenal. So we shuffle the content of the bag and draw 3 contracts and place them here. Alright, so let me explain you these contracts. We are here. So this is a bounty. If you pick up the bounty, basically on the map there will be shown a member of another enemy team which you need to hunt, and if you kill him you get some money. Scavengers works like you pick the scavenger contract and then you are basically shown from one point to the other until you pick up enough money to buy a loadout later on. It works kind of a bit different in this game, but you'll see it's almost similar to the Warzone. So these are 3 contracts, and you can actually see here on this side map that turns, as we have 12 turns, and they are split into 3 segments of different color. So 3 contracts during first 4 turns, then the number of contracts you can get it's a bit different. Every time you move into the new zone, you seed it with the contracts which you can pick up. But later in the game there are less and less as they are picked up by the enemy teams. Alright, so let's see another zone. Must be a different zone, so if I roll the same I need to reroll. And it's going to be zone number 10, so it's peak. On the peak we have these contracts. Interesting. Alright, so scavenger and 2 defense zone. Normally in Warzone these are that tells you where zone's gonna end, where the gas gonna converge. But this one are working a bit differently. You need to defend one zone number of turns. Alright, so these are the 2 places where we can jump out from the plane. Now we still don't know where the zone is gonna end. We're gonna know that when we get into the another segment of a turn track. But right now we can choose where we want to jump. Now before we do that, we need to form our players also. You need to set your threat. Now you can set your threat after you form your players, but I'm gonna show you right now how the threat system works. So each member of your players normally contribute by 1 threat. So if I have 4 members, it's gonna be threat gonna start with 4. Then you have a threat based on the current turn track, so +1 that would go to 5, and then on the first turn when we're jumping from a plane there is a +2 more, so it's going to be on 7 normally. Threat rises also or goes down by using these team tactics and by taking these contracts. But for now I'm going to put it back to 1, and we're going to put the threat once I form my team. So I'm planning to play a trios, which is basically 3 people in the team, and I'm gonna put myself and some of my friends which I played Warzone before, so I'm gonna put their nicknames also here. So my nickname in the Warzone is actually this. Well, it was, I was playing the game, but right now it's not in the really that great. My computer is not that great to give me a best possible experience in the Warzone. So I'm gonna form my player, so my nickname, and before I continue I need to show you what you have on this card. So we have these little tokens that represent your player's condition. Right now I'm kind of alive, but I could be downed and I could be killed. If I'm killed, we remove this out of the card, and then later on I can be bought by my other members from a team. We all starting with a pistol at the beginning of the game, and when you don't have a weapon, these are your stats in the combat. There are three types of combat: close range (CR), middle range (MR), and long range. And I made it so you kind of have all the weapons for those ranges. Not in the beginning of the game, but later when you pick up the weapons, you will be able to use them in the close, middle range, and long range. Just these modifier will be a bit different. So how does it work? During the combat, we always gonna roll 3 dice in the combat, plus minus additional dice, but never less than 2. So you can see that with the pistol, I don't have an additional dice. I don't have any additional dice with the pistol, so that's why it's a 0. So I wanted to roll 3 dice, but since I have a pistol, it's good for the close and middle range. Well, not good enough because it's modifier just 0. But on the long range, I have 1 less dice. So I'm probably not going to hit anything on the long range with my pistol. I mean, could happen, but I need to be extremely lucky with that. Alright, later on, as we pick up some weapons, we will get the basic weapons. And we're gonna form our skills right now at the beginning of the game with those weapons and with the loadout. And then if we have those weapons, we're gonna use this part of the table. If we have a loadout, we're gonna use modifiers from this part of the table. When you pick up basic weapons, you're gonna cover your pistol with this little token, and when we have a loadout, we're gonna flip it to the green side. Right now we don't have any weapons. Also, we start with 0 cash, so I'm gonna write that on the card, so 0 cash, but this will change, and we start with 1 plate. These are armor plates, and when you get hit, those are removed, and if you don't have armor plates and you get hit, you are downed. You are in this condition like this, and then team members can bring you up, or you get finished by the enemy team. Alright, so let's see how do we form these players. Also, let me put other. So this will be killing potato, and this will be, who we're gonna put here? Deck. Alright, these are players in my team, and now we're gonna form our stats. So first write down player nickname. Starting cash is 0. Player starts with 1 armor plate and a pistol. Then we roll 3d6 for player skill values, which is a basic weapon, and rolls of 1 to 3 are 0 skill modifier, 4 to 5 are 1 skill modifier, and 6 is 2 skill modifier. So how this work? You're gonna roll 3 dice. I'm gonna roll for myself. Bam, and then you're gonna assign this on your close range, middle range, and long range skills. So as you can see, there are no rerolls here. So what I roll, I need to use. So 1 to 3 is basically 0, 5 is 1. So let's say with the basic weapons, I'm not really good long range, and let's say I'm not really good middle range. These are these 3s, so they are 0, but this 5 I'm gonna turn into 1. So I'm kind of good with the close range weapon. And then your loadout's gonna be +1 forever you wrote here. So I'm really good at the close range and kind of really average with the middle range and long range. All right, so let's do the same for killing potato and Deki. Oh, that's much better stats. Let me check. Yeah, so killing potato actually has 1, 1, and 2. We're gonna put him 2 in the close range and 1 in the middle and 1 in the long, which means with the loadout, also I need to give him 0 cash and 1 plate. So with the loadout, that's a 3, and this is a 2 and a 2. Your stats are always one better than your basic weapon stats. And let's give me a second, son. Let's do the same for Deki. Oh, not that good. So 0, 0, and 1. So let's say he's a sniper of our team, so it's gonna get 0, 0, and 1 for long range. The loadout is gonna be 1, 1, and 2. 0 cash and 1 plate. We're not gonna use a fourth guy, we're playing a trios. Right, so that's a basic stats. Unlike so loadout weapon skill modifier are one number higher. Okay, now roll to see will player have a quirk or a perk. Then depending on that roll on a quirk or perk table and write it down on a player's card. Alright, so there are perks and quirks in this game. Basically either you're good at something or you're bad at something. To check does a player in your team has a perk or a quirk, we roll a 2d6. On 2 to 5 he's gonna have a quirk. On 6 to 12 he's gonna have a perk. Alright, so let's do that for me. Okay, that's 11, so I have a perk, and then we roll 3d6 on the perk table. And I have a 10, which is 10 to 11, team player. Once per battle, instead of doing an attack roll, you can bring up a down player from your team. If you do this, roll 1d6, on a result of 1 or 2, you are down. So I can bring other players from their down state, but there is an exchange here, which I can also get down by doing that. But I think it's good. Alright, so I'm a team player. So let's write that down here. Team player. Player. Alright. That's my perk. Yeah, let's see for killing potato. You actually have a quirk. Okay, let's see what kind. A 9. A 9 is too aggressive. You contribute an additional threat to your team. Okay, so he's too aggressive. Too aggro. I'm gonna put a +1 threat to our team, so we know what that does. And for Decky, oh, that's a 6. He has a perk, and he has a 7, which is acrobatic. Once per close range battle roll, you can add +1 to a value of 1 roll die. Oh, he has a +1 basically to his close range. All right, like right here. Acrobatic. So +1. Is it a close range? Yeah, close range. So once per battle. All right. All right, so I can bring people out, but then I have to roll and bring them up. Then I have to roll to see will I get down, but maybe I get lucky and too aggressive. All right, so now let's set up a threat based on this. So each player is +1 threat, so we are on a 3. Because of killing potato, he's aggressive, we are actually on 4. Then current turn is on the number 1, so that's another one. And we are on turn 1 when there is a lot of people jumping down, so that's 2 more. Alright, so that's our threat for now, but that will probably change depending on our tactics we're gonna use. Alright, so what else we need to do? Oh yeah, we need to choose a place where we're gonna jump. So we have 2 choices, either a peak or arsenal. And I would actually go to arsenal because there are much better contracts here. That's where we're gonna jump. So we're gonna take this team token and we're gonna jump here. Now if you see here on the map, each zone has a name and then type: urban, open, urban, and so on. In the urban zone, You can only fight close range and middle range. In the open zone, you can fight any range. So close range, middle range, long range. So if we get into any fight, it's going to be close or middle range fights. So you're going to jump there. And let me see a turn sequence. Just going to prepare and then I'm going to play in the next video. So during a first turn, it is not possible to transfer cash or gear between team members. Alright, so we can't do that. If turn tracker is on the first place of a new color do a gas effect, it is not. If it's not the first turn, you can trade cash or gear, okay. Set or change team tactic for that whole turn. So we need to decide what will be our tactic for the first turn. And we have 4 types. We have rotating, camping, hunting, and looting. Each of them has a different things that give us ability to do so. And let me show you here. Here it is where it says. So tactic, threat values and effects. So if we set the looting, we get +1 more threat. And each player can roll on a loot table of his choice. So this is where we can pick up weapons and money and all other things, which is very important. So we're going to probably loot in our first turn. Camping, we actually get a -1 threat. Team can't do a move action till the end of the turn. And by the way, these are the actions we can do. Move, take contract, loot, or buy. So to be honest, so if we camping, we cannot move. Oops, sorry. My view got spawned on the other part of the video. So let's see, hunting, we get a +3 threat, but team can't be in long range battle. If that battle is rolled or had to be executed by the event, choose middle range battle instead. If team has a contract, they have a +1 DRM when rolling on a bounty table. So this is basically when we hunting a bounty. Rotating is a +2 threat, and when moving from a zone under gas effect to a clear zone, team doesn't suffer running from gas disability. There is this running from gas disability where if you running in front of the gas, basically we really are in trouble, because that's where you really have little maneuvering. I mean, other teams that are already rotated out of the gas will have a better shot on you. So you can see every battle is either close range or middle range. Players that need to take armor plate damage are down instead and can only be get up if they have self-revive token. So you don't want to be running from gas. But if you're using rotating tactic, that's not going to affect you. But that's for later. So right now, yeah, I either could be probably in looting. So that's gonna tactic we're gonna choose. Looting, which is basically, let me see, +1 more threat. So threat is 8. So how this work? Each turn is split into 3 events. And every time we do event, we place one of these cubes until we do all 3 events, and then we move turn tracker 1 space forward. Before we roll for any events, we can do some actions. So while we are looting, we can roll on some how it's called, tables. I will show you those tables. There is a cash table, weapon table, and gear table. Right now we only have pistols, so we will either need to get some basic weapons, or we can also go for the money. Money is important because with money you can go to shop and buy your loadout. There is actually a little board here with the shop. You can see what we can buy. We can buy ammo box, plate box, UAV, self-revive. We can buy a dead player, so bring our teammate back, and we can buy a loadout. Ammo box will replenish our ammo, plate box will replenish our armor plates. Also, we can get those armor and plates by rolling on the gear table, so we can pick that from the ground. That's possible if you roll that number. So it's better if you just buy it on a shop than expecting to find it. But I mean, you can try. UAVs basically give your team a +1 die during one whole battle, which is important. Basically, you can see other teams, so you can fight better. Self-revive, if you get downed, that's a condition when your shields, when your plates are completely depleted and your health. So you go to this down condition when you're laying on the ground and you're waiting for your teammate to bring you up. Well, if you have a self-revive, you don't have to wait, you just use the token on self-revive. And we can both players return to the game with a basic weapon, so we can get people from a gulag. I mean, not a gulag, but if they lost the gulag, if they dead for 3,000 cash, we can bring them back. And loadout will give us loadout, in which case we, as I said, we flip this and we use these stats. So right now at the beginning, we're gonna do some looting. So how the turn sequence work is basically you do an action and then you roll on an event, and then depending on the event you're gonna either have a fight or something else gonna happen, and then when you finish with that, you again can do an action, then again roll for the event, and so on until the turn ends. And when the turn ends, then some team's gonna be eliminated. And we're gonna continue from turn to turn until almost all teams are eliminated and it's only us against someone. So each player can choose what kind of action you want to do. Now, since we are looting, we can roll on any of these looting tables, but we can also use some other actions. As you can see here, we can move as a team. That action must be done as a team, so we move from one zone to another. We can take contract, loot, or buy. So taking contracts, we roll a 1d6. On a result that is not a 1, we remove a contract token of our choice. We place it on a turn track because it is time, and then we do the contract. So we can do that, and if there is a shop and we have money, we can also buy. But that's every player can choose to do what kind of action he want to do. Only the move action is basically whole team. So right now we are here, but if we want, we can just move and then roll for the event. And whenever you move inside the zone that doesn't have any contracts, you're gonna spawn them. So right now we don't know what kind of contracts are here. All right, we only know what this zone has. So since we need money, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick up a contract. I mean, I'm gonna try to, but as I said, we're gonna do that in the next video. I don't want these videos to be too big. Anyway, the game is set. We are playing trios. We have our tactics. We have how much threat we have. And in the next videos, you will see how everything works when we actually get some events and we have to fight some other teams. In any case, if this is something that you think is interesting, well, keep watching, give us a like, and when I'm satisfied with this game and I test it a bit, probably gonna put a print and play if someone is interested to play to have some BR experience in tabletop format. So see you next time and goodbye.